I want to begin with the end of the drasha with my thank yous. And I want to begin my thank yous with a very particular thank you. And if it's with his rishus, I want to ask if Rabbi Shia could join me up here for this particular thank you. Among all the people that Rabbi Leibovitz mentioned, the last few months in this shul, one individual's kayach and perseverance and consistency and dedication and devotion has shown up with giant implications and has literally been hugging the shul and supporting it. And the person I have in mind, as all of you know, is Rabbi Levi Yudkin. Those who know that the shutfus and brotherhood between me and Levi is unique, and it's something that we worked on to grow together. And I love Levi and his mishpacha, and the shul loves him. And we've learned to depend on him and to feel his love for us and for the shul. And I wanted the Rev Pearl to be up here with me so that together we can give him a matana, a person that gives such an enormous amount of time to the shul. The person that's here during the week, on Erev Shabbos, on Matzah Shabbos, late at night. That individual that was meiser himself completely to the benefit of the tzibur, I thought it was appropriate that he should have hanging in his house a clock to remind him of all of the time and effort and energy that he puts into the shul together with the Birchas Habayis. I'd like to ask Reb Levi to come up to receive it. Okay. But of course, one person alone can't carry a shul, and I want to express, b'shem all of the mispalalim, I want to express our deep hakar satayv to Rav Shia Pearl for all of the time that he puts into the shul, for answering phone calls, and most prominently over the last few months for creating and leading a flourishing morning kollel in the shul. I want to thank the board members, the Gaboyim. I want to thank the building committee for their work that seems to never end. I want to thank those that organize the shiurim and those that post the shiurim on various chats and send it out to those that can't be here in person. I want to thank those who organize and support and the members of the morning kollel, those who organize and print out the Marmakaimus and support the Ion Chabura on Sunday mornings. I want to thank the Olam who participates in the Kinyan Masechta Chabura, in the Daf Yomi shiurim. I want to thank those who are involved in making the shul available to our unbelievably beloved Mishmar program and to the Benos on Shabbos afternoons. I want to thank those who serve and buy the food and set up our Friday night learning, which is such a Kiddush Hashem with the men upstairs. And I want to thank Rav Sorsher for his involvement in the shul b'chlal and particularly for the Friday night shiurim. I want to thank all the fathers and mothers who walk their sons to learn with me here Friday night in the shul for that delicious, unbelievable Seder that we have with all the boys together every Leil Shabbos. I want to thank those who organize the various women's gatherings. I want to thank the members of the Wednesday night shir, those that are here in Waterbury and those that are all over the world. And I want to thank those who post the shiurim and send out the notices for the shiurim. I want to thank those who are involved in setting up our Tuesday night shiurim, the Pachan Yitzchak shiurim, the Kiddushim, both downstairs and upstairs. I want to thank all those who put themselves forward to be Balei Tefillah, beautiful Balei Tefillah. I want to thank the Balei Kriya who spend time preparing to be medaktek their Kriyas. And I want to thank all the Gabayim of every single minyan that created a shul that every minyan is a Lahagdil Torah Lahadira. I want to thank the office and Rav Binyamin in particular. I want to thank for dealing with all of the internal work of the shul. I want to thank those who put together the bulletin, and to mention again, Reb Shia, thank you for being Isaac and preparing a beautiful shtickle Torah for the bulletin each week. It's not possible that I covered everyone, but the truth is that every single one of you, without any exception whatsoever, every person that joins the shul, that davens in the shul, that participates in some way in this Beis HaKnesses, in this Makom Kadosh, is deeply, deeply appreciated, and it's only together as a unit that we can create the Kiddush Hashem that exists over here. You know, being attached to a shul is not just something that's helpful for our ruchnias, although it's enough just for that. But being attached to a shul, davuk in a shul, is holding on for yourself to a piece of geula. This is not poetry, this is a Gemara. The Gemara says in Brachas on Daf Ches Amud Aleph that Rabbi Yochanan was informed the Ikos Savi beBavel, that there were elderly people in Bavel. Rabbi Yochanan was stunned. He said, it's not what it says in the Pasuk. The Pasuk says, L'man yirbu yemeichem al ha'adama. It says that a long life is when you're living in Eretz Yisroel. But when they told him that people come early and stay late in Batei Knesiyos, he said, oh, now I understand. That's what gives to them. That's where the schos comes from. Because the Beis HaKnesses, the Mefarshim explain, is a little makom of Eretz Yisrael. It's a little makom of Hashras Hashchina. Va'ehi lohem mikdash ma'at ba'aratzais asher hayu sham. The pasuk says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I will create a mikdash ma'at in whatever far-flung lands they will be. And that's our Beis HaKnesses. The pasuk says in Yirmiyah, in Kapitel Yud Beis, Kayomar Hashem. Listen to this pasuk and what you think it might be referring to. Kayomar Hashem, Yirmiyah is giving Musar, Al kol shcheinai haraim, hanoigeim benachala asher hinchalti es ami es Yisroel. All the bad neighbors who affect my nachala that I gave Klal Yisrael. I think anyone would assume that my nachala that I gave Klal Yisrael, that's Eretz Yisrael. And Shcheinai Haroim must be the bad neighbors of Eretz Yisrael, of which unfortunately there are many. But says the same Gemara on Daf Ches and Brachos, that it's not referring to the Shcheinim of Eretz Yisrael, this nachala, asher hinchalti es ami Yisrael. It's referring to someone sheyesh loy beis hakneses be'iroi ve'enoi ba sham lehispalel. It's referring to the neighbors of a shul. And of course, midatayva meruba, the sense of siyata deshmaya and closeness that HaKadosh Baruch Hu feels to shcheinav hatoivim, to the good neighbors that affect this nachala, this piece of Eretz Yisrael, this glimpse of geula, that a Beis HaKnesses is the nachala asher hinchalti es ami Yisrael. No wonder the Gemara says in Megillah Daf Chavtes that Asidim Batei Kneisiyos Shabebavel Sheyikbeu be'Eretz Yisrael. Of course the Batei Knesiyos of Bavel will find their way to Eretz Yisroel because they are a part of Eretz Yisroel. They're the Nachalo Asher Hinchalti Es Ami. Of course the Batei Knesiyos in Bavel belong when Mashiach comes b'mheira v'yomeinu in Eretz Yisroel. It's well known that the halachos of a Beis HaKnesses, the sugyos that describe the dinim of the hanhagos of a Beis HaKnesses are in Masechta Megillah, the Masechta that we're all holding in now in Chodesh Adar, getting ready for Purim. And the Mefarshim discuss why the Chachamim chose of all the Masechtas in Shas that the Masechta that should house the dinim of a Beis HaKnesses is in Masechta Megillah. But the emes is it's not a kasha. Because the story of the Megillah, the Sipur of Purim, is the unique Yom Tif that we have, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Megala himself when Yidden were in Galus, Be'eretz Loi Lohem, Akati Avdei da Achashverosh Anan, and yet still there was such a Gilui of Hashgachas Hashem that we created a Yom Tif, La Yehudim Haisa Oira V'Simcha V'Sasayin Vikar. So when we describe that even in the far-flung lands of Paras Umadai, there could be such an expression of closeness of Hashem, of course that's the place to discuss the halachos of a Beis HaKnesses, Hanachalo, Asher Hinchalti Es Ami. Having this attachment to a Beis HaKnesses produces bracha. And we as a tzibur, over the last year, have experienced many brachas. And we've attended many of each other's simchas. And we've watched an entire life cycle of simchas unfold in this shul. And yet, this this lichtigkeit, this bracha, we daven to Hashem that it should continue to spread. And we ask Hashem that our attachment to this Makom Kadosh, to this piece of Eretz Yisrael, to this Nachala of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that it should lead to an expression of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's love. That every person that's waiting for a simcha should experience that simcha. That every person that's experiencing tsar should experience a Yeshua. That every difficulty should vanish, and that all of us should find in our hearts the path forward to bring us closer and closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, having nachas from our mishpachos. My wife and I have incredible hakaras hatov to this shul. To all of you, we cannot express enough the ahava that we feel, and the zechus and the achrayus that we feel that you have opened your hearts to us and that we have become part of your families. And we only ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for the opportunity to continue to grow together with you and to continue to steig and to bring nachas to HaKadosh Baruch Hu together with you. The Haflah says, V'haviyosim el har kodshi, v'simachtim beveis tefilasi. I will bring them to my Har HaKodesh, to Yerushalayim, to the Makom HaMikdash, and I will help them rejoice in my house of tefillah. Says the Haflah, every shul in Galus is going to find its way back to Eretz Yisrael. And the Havtacha is, and the Bracha is, that when that day comes, that we are Bahar Kodshay, that we are by the Har Habayis, that we will have this chus, says the Haflah, that you will have this chus to be mispalel in the same Beis HaKnesses. When you got a seat here, you got a seat for after Mashiach comes as well. V'haviyaisim el har kodshi v'simachtim beveis tfilasi. He says, that's your shul that you daven in now. But that shul is asid likova be'eretz Yisrael. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu grant us that final Yeshua. and that final geula, and this magnificent Kiddush Hashem, and the warmth, and the love, and the caring that exists among us, among our chaverim, and our mishpachos, we should be able to bring together with us to Yerushalayim Ir HaKodesh, and be able to continue our mission in the shadow of the Beis HaMikdash, with geula, with Or, and with Torah. B'mheira v'yomeinu Yashikayach.